Sounds like a windstorm in my office. What's up, everybody? Friday, February 5th, and I got another Bible passage that I want to share with you guys. It's Numbers chapter 11. Okay? I want to read a couple verses from chapter 11. Numbers, not the most gripping book in the Bible, but this chapter is pretty legit. So if you get a chance to read the whole chapter 11 of Numbers, I would do that. It's very good. I kind of have to set the stage for you a little bit. Israel is in the desert. They've been out of Egypt for like 2 years. They are getting their laws and their bylaws and everything, and they have been eating manna, which is this bread from heaven, if you're familiar with the Bible. And they've been eating it for the whole 2 years. And it all kind of culminates at this one point. And let me just read verse 5 of chapter 11. It says this: "We remember the fish which we ate freely in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. But now our whole being is dried up. There's nothing at all except this manna before our eyes." And yeah, they've been eating manna for 2 years, and they're sick of it. Okay? So they just are like, forget this. We're sick and tired of it. And, let's not forget what the manna is, okay? They were in the desert, okay? And along with these sentiments, they're like, let's go back to Egypt, Might I remind you that you were a slave? You're being held against your will in Egypt when God freed you from Egypt. And then you didn't have any food to eat, so the food rains down from heaven. That's miraculous, no water to drink, and the Lord cracks a rock and out comes fresh water. Okay, so I know what it's like to have the same thing every single night, and you better believe the Israelites got creative with how they prepared it. But don't ever forget to be grateful. Okay, that's the thing, that's the mistake that Israel made. They forgot to be grateful. Even though they got tired of the manna, they forgot to be grateful. And then they started looking back at their old life in Egypt, and they wanted to go back. That's insanity. You've been delivered. You've been freed. Why would you want to go back? Which leads me to another thought, that they forgot everything that God had done. Okay? They were delivered in amazing ways. Don't forget the 10 plagues. Don't forget the pillar of fire by day, fire by night and cloud by day. Don't forget the parting of the Red Sea, the springs of water in the desert. God did miracles in these very bleak times. Like, if God didn't do that, they'd be dead in the desert. Okay? So don't stop being grateful. Number 2, don't forget what Jesus has done for you. Don't forget what God's done for you. Look back at your life and remember how God delivered you from that junk. Okay? The story continues. They actually got tired of manna. They wanted meat. And so they said, give us meat. And so God had a plan to bring in quail. And even at one point, if you read the whole chapter, Moses was doubting that God could provide enough meat for these people. And God's like, hello, Moses, you're doubting me too? And so God does provide meat. He provides quail. And they eat quail day and night until they're sick of the quail, okay? Which is just funny, because they've been eating this manna and they're whining and crying because they're sick of the manna. Now they're eating all this quail, and now they're sick of the quail. And off the cuff here, honestly, that's how sin is. You think you want that. Say you're the married man with wife and kids, but you see this other chick You think you want her, so you go for her. Okay, so like Israel goes for the quail. And then they get so much quail, they're like puking it out their nose. And they're looking back at the manna and they're probably thinking, man, that manna sounds pretty good right about now. You know, translate that into that scenario. You leave your family and you go for this other woman, and then after a while you get sick and tired of this new woman, and you look back at the wife and your family that you had and you think, boy, I could really go for some of that right now, but you can't get it back because you ruined it. Okay? You got to have the forethought to know not to go for that stuff. And even though the manna gets old, remember God's provision, his promises, what he's done for you. And also, I want to say this, they were craving quail. Okay? They were craving it. Like the one guy, the married man, he was craving this other, he was lusting after this woman. But just because you crave it doesn't make it okay. Just because you have those feels doesn't make it okay to do it. And just because maybe you have certain tendencies, that doesn't make it okay to do it. There are urges and tendencies that I have that I know not to abide in. Like the guy who cuts me off on the highway. Yeah, man, my natural inclination is to ram that dude off the road. But I don't do it. I know better than to do it, even though I have those feels, you know? And you can, like I love to say, you can insert your situation here. What are the feels you're feeling? What are the urges you're feeling? And just because you feel those feelings doesn't mean that you need to do them. You know, I think that's a major problem in our culture, is to think that just because we feel a certain way, well, I was born that way, I need to just do it. No. Some feelings you're not supposed to give into, okay? So, number one, don't stop being grateful. Number two, always look back and remember what God's done for you. And then three, just because you have that feel doesn't mean you need to pursue it. And those are the points for today. Thanks for watching my video. If you like the video, go ahead and smash that. Just kidding. Go ahead and gently tap the like button and share it with a friend or something like that. Maybe somebody else needs to hear that stuff too. Later.